My primary checking account is with Bank of America.
I'm presently with Capital One.
UMB Bank.
Grove Financial.
U.S. Bank.
I use Bank of Texas right now.
Delta Federal Credit Union.
The Bank of Kentucky.
Farmington Bank.
I use Chase Bank.
Commerce Bank.
It's a local bank. It's called Veritex.
Police and Fire Federal Credit Union.
Capital One.
My checking is with SunTrust.
I have two primary checking accounts. One is at PNC Bank and the other is at Fifth Third Bank.
Wells Fargo.
I have my primary check in M&T Bank.
My primary is with Wells Fargo, and prior to that was whoever took them over.
Been with them for a little over 7 years.
Going on 2 years.
I guess 5 or 6 years.
I've been with the same bank for 30 years.
Since 1983.
20 years, I guess. Each time it's changed names.
Well, TD Bank, I've been banking with them for the last 10 years.
5 or 6 years.
30 years.
I was with Bank of America, and then I didn't really like their service that much, so I went to Wells Fargo. It was the other big one that had locations around.
The deciding factors for choosing Bank of America was convenience, accessibility, and at the time, it was a reputable bank.
When I was at a bigger bank, I felt like they assumed that I was wrong.
If there were a neighborhood center or bank close or convenient, we probably would have chosen that because I do not prefer national banks.
Oh, I've had days when I was happy with them and days when I wasn't.
I don't know if there's anything I particularly like about it other than it's convenient.
Not very pleased with them at the time. The fees is just a little high.
I can call them and say, hey, can you hold off on posting some of this stuff, and they'll actually respond to those requests.
They make more money on ATMs and that sort of things, and then they turn around and charge us fees for those things.
They get better rates, we get better checking, and their services are better than a big bank. And they always say, let me help you instead of giving me the paperwork to do.
You have to be paying money to get your own money.
M&T Bank's been around for a long time, and they didn't take any bailouts or anything like that.
Now that I have to pay for the privilege of giving them my money to use, and with the really low interest rates to begin with, we might as well keep the money under a mattress.
I'm not earning any money, even in money markets.
They don't make exceptions for long-term customers or people that they recognize or have a relationship with. And I've heard that community banks are quite the opposite.
I don't pay any fees on my checking or savings accounts.
If I pay for my checking account, it's just the regular banking fees, but they're very low compared to other banks.
I don't pay a fee for my checking account, but I am charged a per transaction fee for the use of the ATM card.
If I use my ATM card to buy gas, I'll have like an extra $1 fee that'll show up on there, but I don't have any like operational fees.
That would essentially be a fee if we were having to pay every time we use the ATM.
All these years they've promoted that they do free checking, and I've paid $12 a month now, probably for 12 years.
$22 a month. I think it's too much. I just don't see what they're a bank. They should be, this is their job. I don't see why they need to charge me a service fee.
If it was a fee issue, I probably wouldn't do business with them.
Yeah, I use my debit card to pay for things. It's just a lot more convenient.
Debit card is pretty much the way that we pay for everything.
My wife has one, I don't use it.
I use my debit card for just about every transaction.
No, I do not. I use a Discover card when I can because I get the cash back.
Use it just on a daily basis.
I use my debit card for personal. I use my debit card for business.
I use my debit card tremendously. I'm getting ready to go in the grocery store and use it right now.
I would definitely use an ATM card with a rewards program.
Yeah, I think I probably would use it a little bit more.
If they offered rewards to use it, I would love it. I'd use it the same because I use it now all the time.
I think that would behoove me more than just, interest on it.
If it's a reasonable amount back, I think that, yeah, you would definitely use it more.
I would use my debit card more if I got rewards, as long as I wasn't being charged for having a debit card.
I would prefer to see more of a cashback allowance system rather than a point system. Knowing that the cash system was going back into my account, that would be a huge incentive.
We shopped around for the different credits that you get, for the different points you get. They're all sort of silly. And each time we would build them up and then they would change the rules and you couldn't use them.
If there's no catch, then I would.
I would love a debit card that gives me cash back every time I use it.
I like that. I think that's good.
Well, that sounds like a good thing. Of course, I know it's not going to be a high percentage, but anything these days.
I think it'd be fantastic to get cash back every time I use my debit card.
And that is one thing that I wish Chase did do.
Surely, wherever I can get benefit somehow or the other, why not?
If they offered cash back for debit transactions, I'd definitely.
Yeah, I would be interested in checking that out.
I would definitely be very interested in getting cash back using a debit card, seeing how banks are now talking about charging for the use of their debit card.
Yeah, I would appreciate getting some cash back.
I specifically don't choose credit cards that have miles or long-term benefits because a lot of times those never come to fruition or they're blackout periods, so I have a credit card that gives you the cash back. So yes, I think it makes a lot of sense, and it's definitely something that I would lean towards.
This day and age, you got to go where the money's at.
Every time I use my debit card to get money back, I would definitely change my accounts.
Absolutely, I would switch to a community or local bank or credit union if they had a perk like that.
I would think about it, yes.
I would definitely consider switching if they had like comparable services to U.S. Bank.
I would switch to a community bank. I think that they have a lot to offer that some of these bigger banks can't offer.
I guess I would do it.
Yes, I would be willing to switch banks. I've never really shopped around for a bank or a program that I was interested in changing, and I felt like they were all the same. So maybe if I had more information and put a little bit more thought and research into it, I would choose a community bank that offered these programs.
If it was going to give me $50 at the end of the year, sure, that would be an incentive to switch banks.